Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is our infographic video for TAX267 on question 2. Introducing our group members. First, Husna Zulaika binti Muhammad Faizal. Second, Ifa Fatihah binti Syahrul Azhar. Third, Nur Izzah Batrisyia binti Muhammad Daud. And lastly, Nurul Shakila Nabila binti Azizul Zuhairi. Statement for this question is, Samsul Amin just arrived in Kuala Lumpur on 1st February 2022 after completing his contract with Mata Ptd, a company based in Australia. He left Malaysia on 20 February 2016 to serve as a project manager in Mata Ptd for its special project in Brisbane, Australia. On 1st March 2022, he commenced his employment as manager of KL Twin Sendirian Berhad in Kuala Langat, Selangor. Question A asks, briefly explain the responsibility of Samsul Amin upon his arrival in Malaysia in the basis year 2022. And the answer is, upon his arrival in Malaysia in the basis year 2022, Samsul Amin is responsible for fulfilling certain responsibilities. These include, firstly, registering himself as a taxpayer with the Malaysia Inland Revenue Board or LHDN. Second, declaring his income earned in Malaysia and from outside Malaysia. Third, keeping proper records of his income, expenses and supporting documents. Fourth, calculating his taxable income accurately. Next, paying the correct amount of tax based on the tax rates and reliefs applicable to him. Lastly, submitting his tax return form within the stipulated time.
The question is, state the requirement of the Income Tax Act 1967 with regards to the submission of return form by Samsul Amin for the basis year 2022, assuming he has no business income. According to the Income Tax Act 1967, an individual who derives income in Malaysia and from outside Malaysia is required to submit a return form. For the basis year 2022, assuming Samsul Amin has no business income, he needs to fulfill the following requirements. First, he needs to complete the appropriate tax return form, for example, Form BE for individuals without business income. Second, he has to provide accurate information about his income, deduction and relief. And third, he has to attach supporting documents such as salary statement, investment statement and receipt for deduction. And lastly, he has to submit the return form to the Malaysian Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, either online or physically.
We move to question B2. What would be the implication if Samsul Amin fails to submit the return form within the stipulated time given by the Malaysian Inland Revenue Board? If Samsul Amin fails to submit the return form within the stipulated time given by the Malaysian Inland Revenue Board, there can be several implications. First, we have he may be liable to pay penalties and fines imposed by the Malaysian Inland Revenue Board, MIRB. The MIRB may estimate his income and tax liability, which could result in higher tax assessment. He may lose the opportunity to claim certain relief and deduction. And the last one, legal action may be taken against him, leading to further consequences.
Moving on to question C. Samsul Amin has submitted the tax return form for the year of assessment 2022. However, he realized that he wrongly claimed the expenses in his return form. So briefly explain on the amendment to his submitted return form. So what Samsul can do is, he is allowed to make self-amendment on information or assessment to correct mistake in the income tax return form because he wrongly claimed expenses or overclaim it. By submitting an amendment return form ARF within 6 months from the due date, he submitted the year form assessment 2022. ARF is to be submitted to the Hasil office that handle his income tax file. And it is important for Samsul Amin to rectify any mistake in his submitted return form to avoid potential penalty, incorrect tax assessment and legal consequences. Next, Samsul need to fill in the necessary details including the correct information and the specific amendment required, and provide supporting document to substantiate the amendment, for example, receipt or invoice. And he need to make sure that the amendment are accurate because self-amendment is allowed once for each year of assessment. That's all from us. Thank you.